this party started. All right, folks, it is an absolute pleasure to be coming to you on this Friday evening. 10/28 is the date. God bless you all. Massive Ripple Q3 market report. This one is going to completely blow you guys away. I had to look at these numbers a couple times. I was like, am I seeing things right now, folks? Unbelievable data points to go over in this Q3 market report from Ripple. This is absolutely massive. Real quick, before we get into the Q3 market report, Bitcoin trading at 20,600. Our Ethereum is just under 1,600, and our XRP is at 47 cents. So the market's just still hanging in there. But once you see this Q3 market report, it is going to be absolutely blowing you away how XRP is just hanging around half a dollar. This asset is truly set to disrupt this whole payments infrastructure system, folks. And Ripple is in such a great spot. The numbers don't lie. We follow the money. We can see what Ripple's been doing. And folks, we're just going to try to go through this rapid fire. This is absolutely massive. Without further ado, I want to get straight on into it for you guys. Let's take a look here directly from Ripple themselves, the Q3 2022 XRP Markets Report. Thank you for tuning in. God bless you all. Let's get straight on into it. So, folks, here we go. The key takeaways from this one is that Ripple now has less than 50% of the total supply. They have on-demand liquidity going live in Brazil. And you're going to see some of this on-demand liquidity volume continuing to surge. Absolutely massive, okay? So let's take a look here. Let's get right on into it. So they talk about Ripple now has less than 50% of the total outstanding XRP supply. Right, the critics have pointed to the company's XRP ownership as an indicator that the XRP ledger is controlled by Ripple. This is not true. The XRP ledger uses federated Byzantine consensus to validate transactions, add new features, and secure the network, which means that each validator node gets one vote regardless of how much XRP they own. Ripple currently operates 4 out of the 130 plus validator nodes on the XRP ledger. So let's understand that, guys. Only 4 of the total validator nodes are ran by Ripple. We have over 130 nodes confirming the XRP ledger. Federated Byzantine consensus is what they call it. Okay? And so now, for the first time ever, Ripple has less than 50% of that supply. And for many, they've criticized Ripple for controlling XRP. We've always made it clear, yes, they control the supply, and we believe they are the righteous custodians. As we're about to get into the on-demand liquidity report, you'll see they are giving this XRP up for only XRP true utility use cases, cross-border payments, treasury flows. We're going to get into it, guys. This is absolutely massive. Please make sure that you smash that thumbs up if you're excited about the future of XRP changing the world, folks. This is absolutely incredible. Okay, so they go on in talking about the war in Ukraine, Russia, the situation, the dollar being strong. Something interesting here to note is that they point out that Bitcoin and XRP have decoupled from the S&P 500. Okay, right here. They say that Bitcoin has outperformed the S&P 500 by over 5% and outperformed U.S. Treasuries by over 8%. But then they also lead to a decoupling right here of correlations with Bitcoin and the S&P at 0.5 and XRP to the S&P at 0.2. At the beginning of Q3, these numbers were materially higher. Now, another interesting thing here to say is that they say leverage in the system remained constant, but furthermore, concerted efforts to bring critical traditional markets leveraged infrastructure to crypto were visible. Now, what the heck does that mean? They are talking about prime brokers, clearinghouses, OTC derivatives desks, and uncollateralized lenders are being brought to the crypto space. They're talking about the traditional finance space, all of the leverage from there being brought back into the crypto space or being brought over to the crypto space, right? This is some of the biggest players, folks. Prime brokers, clearinghouses, OTC derivatives desks. Absolutely. This is institutional derivatives, guys. We have no idea how big this even is. Estimates put it well over $1 quadrillion. And uncollateralized lenders. This is pointing out too that cryptocurrency is the solution for the liquidity crisis. This is the solution to fix all of the over leverage that we see in the traditional finance space. Then we have prime brokers. This is talking about securities. This is everything coming on over. And you're going to see in this report how well the XRP ledger is suited, how well Ripple is prepared to help the traditional markets come on into the space. Now, they note here, they talk about Ethereum's update, and they say that the merge played a large role in anticipatory positioning and price action by participants, but ultimately had little impact on the markets. That said, the effects of the dramatic shift in the tokenomics of Ethereum are still being realized by the markets and will take times to materialize. Okay? Now, we have NFT volumes have absolutely been crushed. Let me slide on down to that. 80% lower than the same quarter last year and 76% lower than QT of this year. Right? 80% lower than the same quarter last year, 76% lower than Q2 of this year, right? So the 1.8 billion that was traded this quarter, not very impressive when you compare that to last year, right? And then they talk here about how the Metaverse is essentially dead. The top Metaverse, Decentraland, only had 38 daily active users in its $1.3 billion ecosystem. So, as we've been talking about, this whole space does need to be cleaned out. NFTs, Metaverse, all of the hype was there. 99% of the projects. The top project here in the whole space, Decentraland, having less than 100 users just in one day. And now, obviously, the company refuted that. But as Ripple notes here, you can see from the data, all of these metaverses, all of these NFT projects ended up folding, ended up going bust. They did mention some of these companies, some of these NFT projects still raising a ridiculous amount of money. In the midst of this bear market, there's still a bunch of money pouring into this space. And we're going to get into the NFT update here for the XRP ledger here shortly. Excuse me. Now, in regards to regulation, they talk about how here we are finally starting to get some major breakthroughs. Check it out. Finally, we get the report from the White House, the first ever framework on U.S. crypto regulation. The SEC continued its game of regulation by enforcement, but then they go on here to talk about the European Union finalizing the markets in crypto assets regulations. That's that MiCA bill that everyone's been talking about, right? We finally have regulations here in the European Union. And very interesting to note, they don't even talk about the new on-demand liquidity partners that they have in France and Sweden. They just left that completely out of the report. I don't know why, because I thought that was massive news. And it goes to show here that we got the green light from the regulations, the MiCA bill passing in the European Union, and then I have on-demand liquidities firing up in Brazil, France, and Sweden. That tells you that the regulators have given the green light. Those platforms, those banks, those institutions feel safe enough to fire up the on-demand liquidity using XRP. Absolutely massive. Now, furthermore, they talk about the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit, the big breakthroughs being obviously that we're going to get the Hinman documents, and then they say the next steps is in November. We're going to be getting the reply briefs, and then we're going to be waiting on the judge to give us some sort of ruling on all of these motions that have basically been held up. So, exciting. We're very close for regulations passing here in the United States, and very close for major breakthroughs in the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit. Finally, getting those documents. Now, they talk about the XRP ledger, and as they say here, we have Balmain, French fashion powerhouse, building their NFT project on the XRP ledger. Kind of cute, okay, whatever. And then we have the NFT Creator Fund, which was a $250 million program announced by Ripple. They did the second wave of NFT creators. Okay, so these NFT creators are all leveraging the XRP ledger. And then they talk here about the XLS20 update, which Ripple did initiate. The validators have confirmed in a decentralized manner. And as of 10/17, over 80% of the validators have voted in favor of the update. And they say that we expect this amendment to go live in Q4 of 2022. So within the next 2 months, as we are here already into November almost, 2 months to go, we are going to see NFTs on the XRP ledger by the end of the year, according to Ripple. This is so exciting, guys. Going to be absolutely massive, so much bigger than the pudgy penguin pictures. So much bigger than that. And then you guys know about the smart contracts amendment that's already being worked on as well too for XRP. Basically just updating smart contracts for the XRP ledger. Now, they talk about on-demand liquidity going live in Brazil. APAC growth continued. Q3 was a strong quarter for on-demand liquidity as Ripple entered new markets and customers continued to leverage ODL for use cases beyond individual payments, such as treasury and bulk payments. These were additional use cases that we saw this last quarter that hadn't really been spoken about before and hadn't really been announced. We've talked about this. This is part of the XRP community, some of the use cases that we potentially see down the road. But to finally get the announcements that FOMO Pay, a Singapore-based institutional digital payment solution provider, is using on-demand liquidity for treasury flows. And then we have a longtime customer, iRemit, one of the largest non-bank remittance service providers in the Philippines, is going to be using Ripple's on-demand liquidity solution. And they're going to be using treasury flows as well. They say this gives them greater access to liquidity and real-time settlement. The green light from the regulators is all we need. Then we fire up the corridor. And then every business, every flow of settlement, every asset of value can be settled within that region, within that country. France, Sweden, massive deal because that means that the European Union's ready to roll. We get tremendous on-demand liquidity volume coming from the Asia-Pacific region. Japan, SBI Holdings CEO says that by 2025, every bank in Japan will be using XRP. Not my words, his words. SBI Holdings. Now we finally see the treasury flows, right? And this is based out of Singapore's digital payment solution provider. Singapore, one of the leading cities in the world for this type of innovation, building a city of the future over there. And these other countries, that we've been saying, some of them have been forced because of the debt crisis, the sovereign debt crisis, currency war, commodity war. It made every other country move faster. And these are the countries that are tapping into XRP on-demand liquidity, the best liquidity solution in the whole world. First. Or were they first? Because we've talked about Bank of England and all these other institutions in the West that have been running their proof of concepts, have been running their tests, have been meeting with Ripple. You know, Ripple's been in every single White House for the last 3 administrations. People from the last 5 administrations have worked for Ripple. But this is where this gets exciting, folks. This is what made me take a second and a third look at this report. When we get into Ripple, as they say, being disciplined, responsible stakeholders, Q3 sales and purchases. This is where it gets really juicy. If we take a look here, let me show you guys this. Make sure you guys can see this for you. This is the summary of Ripple's XRP sales. The total ODL related sales in Q2 was 2.1 billion. And then you can see in Q3 here, we had the total on-demand liquidity sales up to 2.8 billion. Nearly 700 million of growth in the on-demand liquidity related sales from last quarter. But then you go and look at this. 1.7 billion was purchased by Ripple in Q2. And I remember covering this at the time, and this was blowing me away last report, Q2 market report, 1.7 billion. I had to go back and refresh my mind on all of the XRP purchases by Ripple over the last year, and it's absolutely massive. I went back and looked at the numbers. In Q4 of 2021, Ripple purchased 321 million. In Q1 of this year, they purchased 1 billion. Last quarter, they purchased 1.7 billion. And we were excited. We've been tracking this. Last year in December, when we were covering the Q4 2021 report, we were getting excited about $321 million worth of XRP being bought by Ripple. We were like, wow, guys, Ripple spent 321 million cash on buying XRP off the secondary market to help fund the on-demand liquidity sales. And then we continue to see these on-demand liquidity sales ramping up quarter after quarter once again. All of these records just absolutely surging for on-demand liquidity sales and the purchases by Ripple themselves. This is absolutely massive. Now, the net sales, which is the on-demand liquidity sales minus the purchases by Ripple, gives you the net sales. That was 408 million last quarter, and it was 310 million this quarter. Right here, you can see those numbers. 408 million net sales last quarter, 310 million this quarter. And that's why they say that they are disciplined, responsible stakeholders. Last quarter, total XRP sales by Ripple net of purchases were 310 million versus 408 million the previous quarter. Ripple has continued to sell XRP only in connection with on-demand liquidity transactions, and ODL volumes have ramped up as Ripple's ODL business expanded globally. As has been the case since quarter 4 of 2019, Ripple did not conduct programmatic sales and has no plans to do so going forward. So, what do we know? Since Q4, they have not been selling XRP to fund their business. They have only been selling XRP for on-demand liquidity, utility use cases by institutions. And as far as we know, as far as we can see from these exchanges and the amount of XRP that's on some of these exchanges, they haven't been selling it to exchanges either, which is something that we continue to talk about, is we do not trust the liquidity on any of these exchanges, period. But when we look at what Ripple's been doing here, guys, this is absolutely massive. We scroll down here and we see that Ripple returned 2.1 billion back to the escrow. Let me run through this simple math for you guys. 1 billion gets released to them every quarter. That means 3 billion got released to Ripple in Q3, right? Every month, 1 billion, that equals 3 billion. They returned 2.1 billion. So how did they sell $2.8 billion worth of XRP? Because they went and purchased 2.5 billion XRP with their own cash. $2.5 billion worth of XRP was purchased by Ripple so they could turn around and then sell it to their on-demand liquidity partners, and they returned 2.1 billion XRP back to their escrow. That is telling you that Ripple thinks it's a better deal today to take their cash, take their hard-earned, funny fiat monopoly money, and trade it in for the world reserve digital commodity XRP right now through Q3 at a record amount, $2.5 billion worth spent on XRP, so that they could go fund $2.8 billion worth of on-demand liquidity sales. All of this 10 million XRP going here, 10 million XRP going there, from all of their on-demand liquidity partners, we're tracking it on the ledger in real time. And just last week, they sent 100 million XRP to someone we don't even know who that was. Assuming it's someone for utility because they're telling us. We trust Ripple. We listen to them and they're telling us it's only going to people that are using XRP for utility. This is absolutely massive. So let me break this down once again for you guys. In Q4 of 2021, they've spent $321 million on buying XRP. In Q1, they spent $1 billion. In Q2 of this year, $1.7 billion. And just this last quarter, Q3, $2.5 billion cash on more XRP. Don't ask me for financial advice. Don't ask Ripple or David Schwartz or Brad Garlinghouse for financial advice. Follow the money. Follow the XRP. And it's going to guide you to the light. It's going to guide you to prosperity. Who else even has that type of money? Besides Sam Bankman-Fried and some of the largest exchanges and some of the big industry players, who else has that? In the startup companies and all these other crypto companies that are trying to do a little something cute, they definitely don't have 100 million to spend on their lawyers to fight against the SEC. 100 million big ones to spend against the SEC. They spent 2.5 billion on more XRP, please, so that we can lock up another 2.1 billion XRP in escrow. That doesn't get released for another 55 months. So what does Ripple think of the future of XRP? They can trade, get one XRP for 47 cents is what we're trading at today. You know, so they're going to the secondary markets, buying XRP for 47 cents. Maybe they're paying a premium even. Hey, we'll give you 50 cents because they know what's about to happen. They know what happens once you get these institutions, once you get these big money movers onto this platform, onto this liquidity solution, using this reserve digital commodity, XRP, the bridge currency for the whole internet of value, whatever the hell you want to do, whatever value you want to move. Here you go. We'll do you a deal. We'll do you good. Come sit down at our table. Let's get the deal done. Folks, this is massive. This report absolutely blew me away. I just wanted to do this quick market report. Absolutely massive. Huge shout out to everyone within this community. I just want to say thank you so much, guys. We are right over the target and our time is coming very soon. Stay patient. You guys know what to do. Personally, I am absolutely stacking the hell out of all of these suppressed assets. You already know. God bless you all. I will see you guys in the next one. Take care. We'll see ya.